What is going on, guys? You're here chilling with the real Satoshi Aoki. In today's video, I thought I wanted to go ahead and take a moment to actually go through all of the games that Gala Games have delivered or undelivered, spoken about to the best of my ability. Now, I have taken some time to scour the internet, various resources to look for information on exactly where a lot of these games are at, maybe some of the things that happened in the history of these games and all things like this. So I've kind of started to make a little bit more content about Gala Games again because I just feel like it's at least my responsibility to. Because if you've been following my channel for a while, you'll know that I have made a lot of content being very positive about Gala Games, the different games, how bullish I was on Mirandus in the early stages, how it looked like it could be the next big RuneScape of Web3. And unfortunately, as each day goes by, it's looking more and more like I've been very incorrect and wrong about that. So I feel like it really is my duty now to just represent where I think they're really at now. It's been a long time, and it's just a whole lot of making a lot of decisions without really listening to the community. It's a whole lot of not allowing people to talk freely or even criticize. It feels like the North Korea at times of crypto and Web3 gaming. You say something that they don't like in the Discord and they just kick you out of the group. Ask any major KOL that's ever spoken about Gala Games, and I'm pretty sure they're probably going to have a pretty negative story. And then just to top it all off, the face of Gala Games, who is no longer the face of Gala Games, Bitbender Brink, you know the guy, all right? He's a little chubby, he's got a beard, nice dude. He has been recently coming out on X and been talking a lot, making a lot of spiels and posts about things that have happened at Gala Games that basically he can't keep quiet about. Disrespect towards not only KOLs, but people that actually work for the company as well. So this is not my opinion, this is just me relaying to you in a structured way what is happening online. This is all public information ready for anyone to go ahead and see, and I'm just bringing it to you today. And yeah, folks, if you like this kind of content, talking about different reviews, what's been going on with Gala Games and how I'm feeling today, please take a moment to like the video, subscribe if you're not already, and comment as well if you agree or if you don't agree. Let's create a bit of a discussion because by all means, if there are some games that you're enjoying, maybe making money from, then I want to know about it. I want to know about it, okay? So we're going to talk about that right now. So what did Gala Games essentially promise to all of its community? Essentially a decentralized network of NFT games where players could come and potentially earn some money from playing games that they love. And really the biggest thing here is, in my opinion, from the way I understand it, is they promised that they were actually making an effort to actually not only complete games, but actually complete successful games where they had large player bases and things alike. It's not the easiest thing to do just to create a viral hyped game, but my, I guess, logic was if they just managed to create even one, even if it was, say, like a Mirandus or something like that, that was successful and became the RuneScape of Web3, then in my opinion, that would have potentially been enough to allow that Gala token to increase exponentially in value, which kind of made me hold my Gala token for a lot longer since having sold, which I did speak to you about in the actual last video, guys. So they essentially raised hundreds of millions of dollars, guys, worth of money through NFT licenses, the NFTs, of course, and the token speculation as well. So selling their Gala games, guys. They were launching a lot of slick trailers, so they'd obviously spent a lot of money in the actual marketing that was directed towards the community that were willing to take risks in the market and actually get involved in a project like this. So this was very deliberate and very on purpose, and it just, it did well. Also, like the name drops with Will Wright here, okay, who is no longer with us in terms of, I don't know if he's on this planet or not, but he was the creator of The Sims and SimCity, all right, but there was an issue with him. All right, we can look into a little bit about that further on into today's video. Okay, so they sold us the dream with that one. That didn't last long. We never even got a Voxverse, basically. Okay, the Walking Dead Empires was another one where they supposedly bought the actual IP rights for this one, but where do we think that one is now? All right, we're going to be taking a look at that in today's video as well. Now, the first one is Mirandus. I do sound like a bit of a broken record going on about this, but Mirandus was really a game where I thought it could be the RuneScape of Web3. I originally saw it on a Brave browser many years ago when Gala Games X account, formerly known as Twitter, had less than 20,000 followers on Twitter at the time. Okay, so it's meant to be a fantasy world powered by blockchain tech, allowing players to truly create their own content. And look, it looked really awesome, but as they started to develop the game, it seemed pretty obvious that things were moving along very, very slowly, almost at an absolute crawl. And it kind of left the community wondering, are we ever really going to get anything going here? They came out with their own token, being the Materium token, which is this one right here. Okay, never any obvious utility with this one, but essentially you were going to be able to use this in game to, I don't know, maybe even like buy magic or something. Okay, apparently it's still listed on some of these exchanges here. I had a little bit a little while ago, but I actually sold it. Here it is, guys. Materium is a magical element that abounds in Mirandus. Materium can exist in many forms, as a solid state, as infused ore, as a liquid state when used to create potions with untold powers. It can even exist in gaseous state. So I think it's basically something that you can find in-game, use it to do stuff in-game. Not a bad concept overall, but again, nothing has really come of it. Now, essentially, guys, what you got to realize is, I realize that games do take time, but this has been around about 5 years now, and there still really isn't anything aside from just a few playtests. Essentially, as I am aware, guys, there's a public preview that's accessible to NFT holders. All right, there's been a few stress tests, walking demos, crafting tests, and model updates. But essentially, no persistent world, guys. No persistent open world, okay? There's no live economy, and there isn't an actual gameplay loop at the moment. Just playtests. As of as recently as July 2025, Gala is still holding town halls, and they're showing off concept art and lore. But I mean, how much concept art and lore are you going to just show off? I mean, the players want to see real things happening with the game that they spent thousands, maybe even some people would have spent millions of dollars to invest in the hope of this actually becoming something. And still, you'd think, all right, give us an average time, but still, as far as I'm aware, after 5 years, there's still no official launch date at all for Mirandus. All right, so the next one is Spidertanks. Now, I have to say, I'm a big Dota fan. I have been in the past. I don't play anymore. So Spidertanks was right up my alley, and I had actually quite a bit of fun playing Spidertanks. I did. I think out of all the games, Spidertanks is probably the one close with Superior that I had a lot of fun with. This is just a straight up awesome game, and it made it to the esports level, and I think I have to say, out of all the games probably that Gala Games tried to bring out and have real success with, Spidertanks had a lot going for it, okay? They had their own token that came out as well, which the value didn't really do much because there just wasn't enough utility. In terms of the play to earn rewards, they're very small. There was a lot of pay to win in this game as well, which, I've always been against pay to win. I know it's not only Gala that does pay to win. All of these different blockchain gaming projects do pay to win. So that's not something against Gala specifically. That's just against pay to win in Web3. I personally just don't think it works. I don't think it can work in terms of long-term sustainability. But even with pay to win, this was still a really, really fun game, okay? I think it was like 3v3 or 4v4 on small different maps, and the mechanics, the gameplay was actually really, really good, and a really good game for PvP, so it had a lot going for it. Apparently, you can still go ahead and actually earn the Silk token and actually take part in some tournaments as well. And even if that's just from a fun point of view, I guess that's a bit of a success in itself. But, there is a big but, yes, in terms of the actual developers of Spidertanks, okay, there were some issues there, alright? Game Media, guys, they filed a lawsuit in late 2023, essentially accusing Gala of breach of contract and failure to pay. Gala responded apparently with a counter lawsuit, so while Spidertanks technically functions, the team behind it wants out, and the player base has actually plummeted quite a bit because of it. But look, it's a live game, and it is playable. Alright, so the next one is going to be Last Expedition. Now, this one actually looked really, really good. Kind of like an alien world extraction shooter with kind of like a retro vibe in terms of the graphics. Gave me a bit of like an Alien 2, Alien 3 vibe. Pretty cool, right up my alley. FPS shooter as well. I have to admit though, when I got in and tried the demo for the first time, the actual graphics was so bad. Like, it was just so bad. It was so glitchy, so laggy, and virtually not playable. So I had high hopes for being able to have a good time playing what I could with this game, but I simply just didn't have a good time. And a bit of an annoying thing about this one is that you had to pay a lot of money for one of these nodes, which I don't know how they're going right now, but essentially a node to host your server and give you a lot of other perks as well. All right, so I wasn't really a big fan of that, but I was still kind of willing to get in there and give it a go because it actually looked pretty fun. This one's also available on Epic Games as well, which you would think does serve some value, but I don't really know how much traction, if any, it's been getting on there. But essentially, guys, you drop onto a planet, guys, you actually go through and hunt for resources, you fight off various types of AI aliens, you extract, and you repeat. So with that, guys, as well, as far as I'm aware, there's no official launch date for the game in sight. So just on the trailer here, and guys, just talking about the actual nodes for Last Expedition themselves and what they actually do. So the initial launch was on November 2022, and they were priced at around 2,000 USD. You could buy with credit card, ETH, or Gala. Okay, I didn't pick one of these up, by the way. And there was a secondary sale in December 2022, confirmed at the same 2K price, guys. It was actually reduced from 5K. Okay, so apparently they were thinking that they were going to actually charge 5K for this one, and then brought it back to 2K. Okay, no surprise there. So no recent sales have publicly been announced, suggesting scarcity unless a future issuance actually does occur. So essentially, guys, it gives you that ownership of your own operator node, it's called, which is on the Gala chain. And as I mentioned before, it does allow you to host your own server where you can, choose your settings, maps, mods, and rules and things like that, similar to owning a server on any other game, basically. So yeah, guys, there's some other benefits as well, guys. You get these like server mod NFTs. So apparently each one actually gives you something called an Ancient Primal Ravager, Bone Snapper, which are essentially are like a couple of different aliens which you can deploy onto the server. So yeah, I mean, it was just that you needed to actually buy this particular operator license node to even get just full access to the game originally in that test phase, which I don't know, for me, like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, if you're, like, listen to me here, hear me out. Like, if you're genuinely thinking about doing what's best for the community and actually creating a game, why would you make it impossible for 99% plus of community to access the early playtest? I mean, if you're trying to improve a game and get honest, raw feedback from real people that don't have bias about the game, then is the best way to do that by only letting in people that have paid an extortionate amount of money, $2,000 per node, to come in and test the game and review and give you feedback from there? In that way, or is it better to just let real people come in and play and get your feedback that way, just like how a regular Web 2 game does on Steam? So it's pretty clear, in my opinion, from this one that they were just all about the money, very money hungry, and yeah, pretty shocking, to be honest. All right, so the next one, guys, this was technically the first game, and it was the game that Gala Games actually created, and it was TownStar. And this game actually was, it's a pretty fun one, okay? It's like a farming simulator, and I actually did spend a lot of time playing this game, spent some money on NFTs, things I like, and it was really going places. I even spent, I think, around 15,000 US dollars on a TownStar node, where shortly after, they basically just shut the rewards down, like a month or so after actually giving out those rewards, which were very high in the beginning. Then basically it just totally collapsed, the economy. They shut the TownStar nodes down after making people buy them for around 15k USD each. And you might say, oh yeah, but it was your choice to invest and do that. Fine. But the bottom line is, we supported you, okay, spent that money, bought the node, and you shut down the economy, and currently they give you like 1 dirt token per day in your Gala inventory, which essentially right now you can't sell it for anything. So that's just the raw and honest truth, and it's a real shame because this game was actually quite fun and enjoyable and extremely addictive. This all happened in 2023, guys, shut down for a few months. Now, I haven't personally revisited the game this year in 2025, but apparently it has been rebooted with some minor changes and some special NFT events. So yeah, folks, there was a lot of talk about trying to bring the earnings back in a fair way for TownStar, and look, it's no surprise. I mean, with their focus going out to Gala Film, Gala Music, DeFi, always constantly launching new NFTs for all of their games and just putting a lot of the focus on selling these NFTs to their community, of course there's not going to be a real budget or resource effort going towards really bringing TownStar back to essentially rewarding those early node buyers. Because essentially, just like with the entire Gala Games ecosystem itself, people who bought into Gala nodes, priority should be towards them. okay, making sure that they are looked after within the community. Same thing should happen with TownStar, but it was pretty damn obvious that those TownStar nodes were an absolute cash grab, and a big one at that. And the next one, guys, is Echoes of the Empire here, okay? So this was technically released, but in my opinion, totally ignored. So essentially, guys, what it is, it's a 4x based strat game that's technically playable on PC. You build fleets, colonize planets, and fight over territory. It launched quietly, and the community engagement has been virtually non-existent around this game, I would say, okay? Gala hasn't promoted it in a meaningful way in over a year, and essentially, guys, yeah, a working game that nobody's playing and likely forgotten about by its devs. But let me know if I'm wrong about Echoes of the Empire, because I didn't actually play this game myself. I never did. I wasn't really interested in this kind of game. There's a little bit of hype around it for a bit, but I have just never heard or seen anything genuine or legitimate about this one. So probably just another one where they sold a lot of NFTs, but just never really brought anything to true fruition. Okay, so the Walking Dead Empire is mentioned at the start of the video, so apparently they bought some IP rights to this one, and this was right up my alley because this was like a bit of a survival game. It involves zombies as well, alright, so, and I'm a fan of The Walking Dead, the series, watched them on TV, AMC, all that. I was like, yeah, okay, this one looks pretty good, but the reality is, guys, it just seems to have slowed down to a crawl, and nothing's really going on with it, guys. So after nearly 2 years in development, the open beta actually launched in 2023, and apparently it's now being shut down permanently on July 31st this year. So this month, apparently, it's being shut down permanently, guys. Okay, so that's essentially less than 4 weeks from the day that I'm going to be posting about this. Assets are being sunset and servers will go dark. Okay, guys, so apparently this is just another game, guys, and this just a straight up rug pull right here. So yeah, guys, I tried to do some research as to why it's being shut down, okay, and basically what I could find is 3 main points, okay, so an underwhelming player base and Web3 fatigue, okay. So despite being in the open beta for over a year and using the major IP, guys, the game actually struggled to keep players engaged, a common challenge in the NFT gaming space, agreed, okay. Strategic refocus by Gala Games, okay, so Gala has stated the closure is part of a broader realignment to concentrate resources on its more sustainable titles such as Mirandus and Spidertanks. I mean, that's just, yeah, make of that what you will. Okay, that's from playtoearn.com there. And unmet ambitious goals. Gala admitted that despite careful consideration, the game didn't live up to its ambitious goals, signaling it didn't meet internal KPIs or ROI expectations. So basically, all the money spent on NFTs there just completely gone. And apparently, guys, there's a NFT compensation plan based around this one, which, yeah, okay, take that with a pinch of salt, guys, but apparently it's promising holders will receive replacement NFTs of equal functionality to use in other Gala Games titles, but this plan has sparked concern and skepticism, guys. So things like $2 mystery boxes and stuff like that. So yeah, I wouldn't get your hopes up about that. And that's a real shame, because really I think this game, out of all of them, had a lot of potential, and I mean a lot of potential, but yeah, obviously something has gone wrong here internally. A real shame. Alright guys, now talking about Superiors. This is one, the roguelike shooter, wait, is it an extraction shooter? No, it's just a roguelite, I think, right? Where you just basically go through and, yeah, third person shooter, fun. You can play with friends, you work your way through the levels, cool bosses. A really cool game, actually. I spent a lot of time playing this one, made some content about it, and yeah, was a big fan of it. But yeah, again, surprise, surprise, guys. It's another developer lawsuit on this one as well. Okay, another one there. Okay, so it was built in 2023 with Drifter, guys, but they actually filed a lawsuit against Gala claiming breach of contract and non-payment. Okay, so sounds pretty similar, guys, don't you reckon, to another project that we just spoke about there? No smoke without fire, guys. No smoke without fire. Since then, the project has vanished. No updates, no roadmap, no communication, guys. Just like Spidertanks, another developer partner turned on Gala, and another game died quietly. So this was cross-platform as well, so people on Steam could play with people with the NFTs, and yeah, it looked like maybe something was going with it, but again, it's just, yeah, again, people paid money for NFTs, and it's just slowed down to virtually nothing. So again, it's a game that kind of looked like it had potential, but it's just like, it seems like an ongoing trend where things just seem to get too hard, and then Gala Games just tend to give up. The thing is for me, guys, is that I just don't understand why, instead of focusing on about 100 different games and basically not completing any, just focus on one. Why didn't you just focus on Mirandus? Maybe even Mirandus and TownStar. together. And maybe you could have actually focused your resources, money on that, actually delivered the value back for the NFTs you sold millions of dollars worth of those NFTs for, and it just would have been a different outcome for the longevity, but clearly they just did not see it that way. And the next one, folks, is Voxverse. Okay, so what happened with this one? Okay, so it was rebranded, rewritten, and then pretty much forgotten. Okay, so this Vox project, like again, it had potential, guys. Collaborated with the SimCity creator right here, Will Wright, to build Voxverse, guys. Meant to be a player-owned metaverse featuring customizable avatars that with cross-game utility. But by late 2024, the entire thing was scrapped, guys. Gala rebranded the project to Vexy, and the current direction is a low-effort, idle, mobile game called Vexy Villages. Okay, so the original Vox NFTs, they're basically useless now. Okay, so Will Wright is nowhere to be seen, and basically the dream is just dead. And a lot of these original Vox NFTs were worth a lot of money and essentially pretty much meaningless now. So just another example of, I mean, I'm not even going to say if it's a rug pull or not. I'll let you answer. And folks, the reality is there's so many more. You know, there's a lot more, guys. We're talking about Legacy, all right, Grit, the Wild West Battle Royale. What happened to that one? Fortified, okay? That just got abandoned early as well, okay? Eternal Paradox, Legends Reborn, Meow Match, Dragon Strike, Champions Arena, okay? All just pretty much just abandoned, guys. Most were announced in 2021 or 2022 and never released, guys. Some had a few demos and things like that, a few drop trailers, but almost none are playable, and there's just been no follow-up from Gala from any of them, guys. So, you know, again, what I've spoken to you about in today's video, folks, this is simply just the facts that is out there on the internet at the moment. This is what is going on with the games. I haven't really given you much of my own opinion specifically here. Obviously, you know, I do have a negative bias in this video, but I mean, can you blame me? I mean, look at what's been going on here. Because the thing is, guys, what you got to realize is that even with all of these failures of games, guys, Gala has made millions from it. Okay, they sold founders nodes for thousands of dollars each. They launched expensive NFT drops for Voxes, TownStar, Walking Dead, Mirandus before the games actually existed, guys. Okay, they really did, and we just fell for it. We were suckers for it. Some people spent 5 figures on land for Mirandus, land that still has no use, and I don't think it will ever have any use, okay? They also forced a confusing Gala V2 token migration, which shook investor confidence even more. The bottom line is, guys, they raised like a AAA studio, but they didn't actually deliver anything aside from like a student-like indie project. I would argue that a lot of them didn't even reach the indie stage, okay? That's just the reality. Then when you think about all of that, folks, is it really surprising that we actually had the co-founders suing each other? Guys, alleging corporate waste of 130 million US dollars in theft. And this was just blown over, like it just wasn't really much. A lot of the, you know, Gala Games loyalists, nah, Gala to the moon, Gala's, you know, not a scam. And I'll admit, I was pretty much one of them. I was pretty much one of them, even though I wasn't screaming from the rooftops about it either way. I was pretty much one of them, guys. Okay, so the co-founders did sue each other. Eric Schermeyer accused Wright Thurston of stealing 130 million worth of Gala tokens and node assets. Wright then countersued, saying Eric misused company funds and locked him out of operations. And then on top of that, developer partners like Game Media, Spidertanks, and Drifter from Superior also sued Gala. We did speak about in the beginning, guys. So internally, externally, guys, the whole company was crumbling objectively. Like, that's just the reality. The facts are there. They're there. You can read them. I'm just bringing the information to you. All right. Gala sold over $200 million worth of NFTs before anything even really came to any sort of true fruition. And I was there for it. You know, I was happy to get behind them, happy to support them, happy to get involved, invest, do all that and the rest of it, like many other people were. And again, just to reiterate, I'm not disappointed in the fact that the games, or most of the games, have basically failed and Gala have basically abandoned them. I'm disappointed with the lack of transparency and the lack of genuine effort, because when I really got into this project at the start, I thought that Gala had a true intention of actually seeing Mirandus, for example, seeing it out, using the resources, using the millions of dollars they got from Mirandus NFT sales to actually put toward the development of Mirandus. It's just a total mess, and it's obviously a mess because you can see all the lawsuits, the allegations, troubles internally, KOLs being unhappy, people banned from the Discord, Bitbender Brink, you know, leaving and then posting all over X about it. So it's just a constant hurrah, guys. There's just constant stuff going on about them. So it's like, logically, how could you feel comfortable having your Gala, having money in Gala right now? I just don't understand it when there's just other projects out there. It's just not cool. You know, so I'm not happy about the idea that, yeah, there was no true intention. Like they should have used the NFT sale money from Mirandus NFTs to fund only the Mirandus game. So that's just my video about the game specifically, and that's just where they're at. So, but again, if you don't agree with me, don't just say you're an idiot, you don't know what you're talking about, Gala to the moon. All right. I mean, say it if you want. I don't care. But I actually want to create an actual discussion, and I want to know if there is actually anything really good happening with Gala. Anything good happening with music, anything good happening with film or the games or DeFi or just at all, like anything bringing back some real value. Because I'd love to hear about it. I'd love to know about it. All right. Even if I haven't invested in it personally, I'm genuinely interested in it because at the end of the day, despite the bias being negative around Gala at the moment for me, I hope there is some way in some world where they can make a bit of a comeback. I hope I end up being wrong about a lot of these games. Not that I'm wrong. I mean, this is the data that's out there at the moment, but I don't really project that I think much is going to happen with these games, a lot of these games, town nodes and things like this. So, but I'd like to be wrong. That's the reality. So let me know in the comments, like if you like this authentic content, subscribe, hit the notifications, and we'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.